welcome to Linguists Academy. Once again, I'm Sheetal here, and we are here to look at the vocabulary for today. Today, we are going to take a look at two sets of words. Now, these words are often confused slightly, and we don't realize when exactly to use which word. So, these sets of words are epidemic and pandemic, words which we've heard of very often in the past 2 years. And the second set of words is outbreak and outburst. So come, let's see the meanings of all these words and their application. The first word is epidemic. An epidemic is basically a disease which affects within a community, population or region. It's a disease that spreads over a community, population or a region. For example, you have diseases like yellow fever, measles, polio, which actually spread fast within a community or a region. And these are examples of an epidemic. In a sentence, the epidemic brought in a lot of distress and people began to lose hope. Situations of epidemic are not easy to handle. The fast spread of drugs in our area was catching on like an epidemic. Something which is fast spreading and hard to control. So the fast spread of drugs in our area was catching on like an epidemic. Now let us see the next word, that is pandemic. Let us see what is the difference between an epidemic and a pandemic. A pandemic is basically an epidemic that spreads across borders. It spreads across countries, across continents also. And we see examples like the recently experienced COVID-19. That was a pandemic. It was a viral infection that actually crossed the boundaries of any nation and continent. Then there's another example in the year 1918. There was a Spanish flu pandemic. It was basically an outbreak of the Spanish influenza. And it is said that almost 1/3 of the world was affected with this viral disease. And therefore, this was declared as a pandemic. Now, when we use this in a sentence, the pandemic has shaken the entire world economy. Again, situations of pandemic are situations of crisis. And the worst affected is the economy of a country, along with other problems. So the pandemic has shaken the entire world economy. Another sentence, the effect of the pandemic was felt for years even after it ended, because as severe is the effect, so severe are the consequences. So the effect of the pandemic was felt for years even after it ended. So that is the difference between epidemic and pandemic. Now, the next set of words that we come across is outbreak and outburst. Let us look at outbreak. An outbreak is a sudden appearance, most often of a happening or an incident. Now, for example, we have an outbreak of an epidemic or an outbreak of a fire. Let us see a few sentences. Last night, there was an outbreak of fire which spread over nearly 3 acres. So it's a fire that suddenly came about. Okay, so last night there was an outbreak of fire which spread over nearly 3 acres. Another example, COVID-19 has been one of the worst outbreaks that mankind has experienced. It was a sudden happening. that came about. No one expected it. COVID-19 has been one of the worst outbreaks that mankind has ever experienced. Now let's look at the next word, and that is outburst, and see how it is slightly different. Now outburst is also a sudden expression, but it's a sudden expression of emotion or activity. It is an outburst, or an outburst can be associated with an outburst of anger, an outburst of emotions, an outburst of ideas. Let us see a few examples in the form of sentences. Her health condition is leading to quite frequent outbursts of emotions. Her health condition is maybe causing her a lot of anxiety, a lot of worry, and therefore her reactions are becoming unpredictable. So her health condition is leading to quite frequent outbursts of emotions. The next sentence, the crowd broke into an outburst and attacked the speaker. Quite likely that the speaker said something that was not at all acceptable to the crowd, and therefore they broke out into an outburst and attacked the speaker. So this was the difference. We have seen the difference between epidemic and pandemic, and the difference between outbreak and outburst. Now I expect you to try to use the right words in the right context, and I'm sure you'll be able to manage. Stay tuned now. Thank you for watching this video, and stay tuned for some more words coming up tomorrow. Till then, goodbye.